tell you what, I didn't actually know Turbo went up to +4. I thought it capped out at +3. That has changed at some point, and I have not been aware of it, so that's an interesting one. Win streaking in Turbo can get you more than 3 win streak crystals per round. There we go. G'day, Josh here, back with a Chess Rush video. And in this game replay that we're going to be looking through, this was a Turbo game that I ended up winning with 100% HP. So it was a perfect victory, 0 health lost. And I wanted to actually break down sort of how to play that, because you'll start to realize as you're going through that, hey, I'm on a pretty good win streak here. And what do I need to do to maximize this win streak to take the most advantage of the situation I'm in to ensure that this turns into a very, very good result in the end. Now, of course, you don't need to win with full HP to win, but if you're going through the early and mid stages on a really nice win streak, then that is definitely worth maintaining, because especially in Turbo, you get extra crystals, 2 crystals per round for the win, and of course you get the win streak bonus on top of that, so you really start pulling ahead in terms of economy. So let's get things going. So you can see that in the first round, I've already got a Nightingale and a Famine on the board, got a couple of Hog Riders on the bench, end up grabbing that Calamity as well, so I've got 2 Undead straight off the bat, because they're pretty decent at this point in time. But of course, everything at this stage, you're not really, you're waiting. Turbo is all about winning rounds, and you don't know that that's what you're going to do. It's all about those PvP rounds, of course. This is still a creep round. But early on, basically spend all your crystals. That's really important. And most of you that have been playing Chess Rush for a while will know this one, but you'll actually grab an extra crystal at the end of a round against creep rounds. You automatically get 1 crystal. And if there's a 1-cost hero in the shop, it can be worthwhile grabbing that hero as well. So I think you'll see me do that here, where I get that 1 crystal and I grab that Steel Fist, bang, on the bench. If you don't use him, just sell him back off again, but there's no harm in that stage grabbing as many heroes, giving yourself as many options as possible, because early on, especially in Turbo, 2-star heroes, very, very strong and will carry you to early wins. So I get myself my first 2-star on the board, and basically the difference in this particular matchup is I've got some pretty decent early combos in a couple of goblins and a couple of undead, and I've got a 2-star hero on the board, which definitely helps. So you can see that my crystals at this stage are still down to 0. I am also aggressively leveling, and that is actually quite a big part of maintaining a Turbo win streak in my eyes. There's a couple of different approaches to it. You can just super high roll, but I prefer to stay ahead in levels. And so at this point in time, you see me actually sell off a couple of things here, pick up some other nice options from the shop. Obviously, I got that 2-star Famine out now as well. She's an incredibly strong 1-cost, so having her this early is really, really nice. And obviously, you know that every single one of these battles I will win, because you know that the end result is a perfect victory. Let's just go through them, see if there are any close calls. But yeah, my 2 stars, I even got a 2-star Voodoo Elder. It was a very friendly shot round for me, and another comfortable win as we move into round 5. And at this stage, I do believe that I level. There we go, straight to... Actually, it hasn't happened yet, but it will happen shortly, I believe. I'm just cleaning up my bench. And yeah, so I made sure that I still had 4 crystals left over, so I could get to level 6. Now I've got 4 2-stars, which is lucky. You need to get lucky to get 4 2-stars at this stage in the game. But now is the point in time where I'm recognizing, hey, I've actually got very, very lucky in terms of the amount of 2-star heroes that I have. This could start steamrolling or snowballing into a very, very dominant run through the mid game, and that's when you have to recognize it. And then you tweak your playstyle a little bit to make sure that you're expanding that win streak as long as possible. So at this stage, it's just +1 bonus crystal for the win, but that will obviously increase as it continues. And I'm continuing to spend that mana after the round, so I was able to purchase that Witch Doctor for a crystal. I do like, if I've got some extras, grabbing a couple of Witch Doctors and another Druid to get that bonus crystal. You level him up. You can sell him off for a 1 crystal profit. It's not worth doing if it's going to cost you the interest for the round. And so you see that I actually end up selling the Everbloom there because that gets me back to 9 crystals. And when I beat these creeps, it'll get me back to 10 crystals, which gets me that interest. So a lot of this is econ management and just optimizing. You want to get every possible crystal out of the game that you can to make sure that you have as much of an advantage and you're taking advantage of the position that you are in, the luck that you have been granted in the early game, and trying to extend that for as long as possible. So we get our creep round sorted there. Now I actually ended up buying a couple of other significant heroes in the shop, which meant that I did actually lose the 10 crystals I had there anyway, but that's fine. It's continuing to give myself options at this stage. Both of those heroes are part of my endgame build as well, so that's really, really useful. Calamity is not part of my endgame build, but that doesn't stop me from 2-starring him. And you can see here, once again, quite aggressively leveling, getting as many heroes on the board as possible. And at this point in time, there are 5 of us at a level 7, 3 that are level 6, so I still have a pretty comfortable, I'm still in sort of the top echelon of levels. There's no one ahead of me at this stage, and you can see that still getting a pretty comfortable matchup in most rounds, just because of the sheer number of 2-stars predominantly. Just I've got a lot of strength on my side of the board. My win streak is still at +1. I believe it goes to +2 after this round, if memory serves. And you can see there that I've got 3 2-stars still up, and there's not too much that enemies can do about that. So yeah, there our win streak bonus goes to +2 now at round 8. Let's jump through. So we're not actually too worried about the specific build. This is a build very similar to videos I've made in the past. It's more about the way that you approach the gameplay. And now, same sort of situation. I'm at 8 crystals because I know that if I win this round, I get +2, and that will take me to 10. So I'm just doing everything I can to possibly get as much interest. And my win streak will at some point get to +3. Let's jump through to the next round. And I've got 23 crystals. And at this point in time, you can actually see that I must have had a little bit more than 23, my bad, I sold something, I believe. But anyway, I'm now at level 8. There's only 3 of us at a level 8. There's still someone that's level 6, so I'm starting to pull ahead. I'm starting to use my crystal advantage that has been slowly building up to start to pull ahead in terms of levels. And obviously the build is still coming together as well. I can't actually remember the exact in-game build here, but at 100% Calamity and also Stalker Drone are not a part of it. They will both be traded out for other pieces that I will end up getting along the way, but I'm just using the strongest possible options presented to me at the time. And obviously using the space on my bench to save the pieces that will be moving in there at some point as well. So able to get a pretty comfortable win there. We move into the creep round, and it's going to be a similar thing. At this point in time, in this sort of situation where you're on a really nice win streak, and I'm still getting the +4. I'm actually +4. I tell you what, I didn't actually know Turbo went up to +4. I thought it capped out at +3. That has changed at some point, and I have not been aware of it. So that's an interesting one. Win streaking in Turbo can get you more than 3 win streak crystals per round. There we go. Anyway, trying to bank up my crystals so I can actually get to level 9 after the creeps at round 10, and you'll see me do that here unless there's some craziness in the store that you need. And this one, those misfortunes are actually a part of my build. So this is where I may not end up having the crystals required to get the leveling, but I think I still managed to figure it out. I think I still get it to work. And you can see that I've also now got 4 Punishers, which will help significantly as well. I think I sell off the Hog Rider here to level. I'm not 100% sure. You got to do time management as well. And as the prep phase is almost over, it's possible that at this point in time I was like, actually, I'm not going to have the time to do this, so I won't just yet. I'll do that next round. But typically speaking, I think I bought 3 things in that shop round. If I hadn't have bought those 3 things, that 100% would have been a level 9 turn there, just to maintain that level advantage over the rest of the field. And you can see no one else is at level 9 yet. Now that I've got 4 Punishers, I'm in such a dominant spot. You can see that the value, there's only 1 player ahead of me at this point in time. And they are my biggest weakness at this stage, so I don't have 2 Oceanborn to counteract the Sorcerers, but obviously with the end result, you know it doesn't end up being an issue. Let's jump into the next round, and this is one where I've banked up that crystal amount to 39, selling stuff off, buying stuff, but it's definitely going to be a level up here, and you can see that I do that. Readjusting my positioning a little bit, and then I'll end up throwing on another, yeah, there we go, another Dimension Walker, because he just does so much DPS in a 4 Punisher build, even at 1 star. Let's jump through into the next. Actually, I skipped the battle there, but anyway, that's fine. We know the result of it. Let's go straight to the battle phase here. And there we go. We are matched up against, I don't actually think we can see their name. Can I minimize that? No, we can't actually see their name, which is interesting. But based on the builds, or actually based on the result, it wasn't an issue. It doesn't matter who we match up against at this point. And we've got 2 that have been eliminated. I'm the only one at level 9, so I have an advantage in terms of my levels. I have an advantage in terms of my value of my build now over most of the opponents. So things are looking very, very good. I've done a really good job of getting to level 9. And at most, turbo builds can actually, level 9 is their cap, and that's solid. But I like to usually in turbo get to level 10. So at this point in time, given that I already have the level advantage over most of the field, normally the way I play this is I don't spin the shop. I'm still at 60 HP, so now now this is where you risk the perfect win, right? You don't need a perfect win to win, you just need a win. Even if you've only got 1 HP, a win is a win. So now I've got such a health advantage over many of my opponents that I can stop aggressively leveling and use my health as a buffer if I need to. So now all I'm going to be doing is any shot that automatically refreshes at round start. If there's a hero I need, I'll buy it. Otherwise, I do nothing until I have enough crystals to level up to level 10. And given that we're about to have a creep round, as I once again pretty comfortably win that one, given that we're about to have a creep round here, at the end of this round, you'll see how many crystals I have. Enough to get to level 10. Have a look at the shop. There's nothing I really need. The Head Reaper's nice, but not in this specific variant of the build. And so you'll see that I do end up going all the way up to level 10. Can I move my hero? I can't actually move my hero, so he was just there at that point in the game. My character, I mean, not my hero. And now I'm maxed out. I've got very, very nice options. I'm obviously locking that shop because there's a couple of Krakens there as well. The only other piece that I'm looking for is Shakaraka to fully complete my build. That will give me my 2 Oceanborn, and that will also unlock 3 Hunter. But I'm so far ahead of basically everyone else at this point in time that even if I was to lose some rounds, it's incredibly unlikely that I would lose the game. I would have to have a string of bad luck, and the opponent that was to beat me would have to have a string of good luck at this point in time. I've got the level advantage. I'm pretty much first in terms of value. I've got a very solid endgame build with all of the right pieces, still just searching for 1. Because I'm level 10, I have a 6% chance each shop refresh of finding a legendary, so I'm even doing better in that regard. Often the way I like to play turbo is I don't worry about 3-starring 1 or 2 cost heroes too much. I'm looking for the expensive, the 4 and 5 cost heroes as much as possible, and 3-starring those especially is incredibly strong. So let's jump into round 18. We are, of course, down to the top 4. So at this point, you're in a fantastic situation, because worst case scenario, if you were to lose out from here, you'd still get positive rank points, but obviously we're looking for that win. My opponents got that Human Sorcerer build, got a Goblin Undead Warlock build that hasn't fully come together yet, and also a Beast Summoner Assassin build. And obviously, you just saw the combos update. I found my Shakaraka. This is now my full build in terms of the pieces. Now I just need to max out the star ratings of all of them as much as possible. 2-star that Shark, and 3-star any heroes that I possibly can. And once again, being a level ahead of all of my opponents, I have more chance of finding the 4 and 5 cost heroes than they do, which means that if I'm competing for any of those key heroes, I'm more likely to find them. So that's another advantage that I've put myself into that situation because I was aware early enough into this game that this might be a viability, and slightly shifted my econ approach because of that. And now we're down to the top 3, and things are just looking so dominant. In fact, top 2 just like that. It's me versus that weird goblin build that isn't using Hog Rider, so he doesn't have the 4 goblins. I'm not entirely sure what the thinking was there. He does end up getting a little bit more of a reasonable looking build, but it's too little too late. And It's yeah, there's not too much he can do. And I don't even have any 3 stars at this stage. That's the interesting part of it. He actually has a 3-star Head Reaper, I believe. Yeah, 3-star Head Reaper. And he's now leading the value build, but I'm 2 levels ahead of him. And my build is just obviously stronger at this point in time. So let's jump straight into this battle. In fact, he gets another 3-star. 3-star Siren up there as well. But it definitely is too little too late. This build is so strong as an individual build. But given the specific matchup, this particular matchup, even though we both have a 2-star Kraken, it's just not going to be enough for him to get the job done. And he's down to 6 HP, and this will end up being the final round. And let's jump straight into the action. I do end up 3-starring my Dimension Walker, and he's absolutely pumping out damage. Look at the DPS chart on the left there. So much damage coming out of this, and that ends up being the game. And I'll just hit pause there because this will just kick me out to the main menu. But that's what I wanted to sort of go through this replay for. Not to necessarily show you the specific build or the heroes that I'm buying, but to show you how to kind of look at the game that you're in, especially in the early stages, and actually recognize that you might be on a really lucky game, you might be on a pretty significant win streak, and how to maximize that advantage to ensure that you get the win. Even if it's not a perfect win. A win is a win, but a perfect win is definitely a very nice win. Now, it's worth noting, you see my win streak bonus is actually 0 there, so it's worth noting that although it might cap out at 4 now in Turbo, it does reset. So you can see round 19 it's 4, and then round 20 it resets to 0. I think it might actually reset earlier as well. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think it's actually reset twice in this game. So you'll see there that, yeah, round 13 it's reset, round 12 it's reset. So it doesn't include creep rounds. So by the time I'm at round 11, that is, so in terms of PvP rounds, I've got round 3, round 4, round 5, round 7, round 8, round 9, and then round 11. So you get 7 rounds of win streak, and then by the 8th round, it resets. That's why at round 19, that's the second reset is happening at round 20, I should say, because I've gone through 2 lots of 8 PvP rounds at that stage. So worth noting, that's not just in Turbo, that's in all game modes, I believe now, that after 8 wins in a row, PvP wins, it will reset your win streak back to 0, just to help balance things a little bit. But you can certainly take advantage of that in the meantime. So let me know what you think of my approach to win streaking and recognizing one and taking advantage of it in the comments down below. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Like always, make sure to hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Hit the sub button so you don't miss out on any of my future content. And until next time, I'll see you later.